Hello, this is Victor at Mercedes.com, 2010 E350. Julian, so I replaced the oil separator. I don't know if you would be able to catch it, but that plastic piece right there, that's all nice and clean. That's a new separator. There's lots of oil further down though, and that will take a while to burn off. I can't get down there, it's just way too far. And obviously you do not, I never really clean engines or anything around before I know that there are no leaks. So, and obviously right now I'm gonna start spraying anything over hot engine. That's never a good idea. So first things first, the oil separator there was leaking for sure. Here is the old one, which is pretty much all flat. Well, it's a common thing, you know, everybody know about them. It's just the seal goes bad, and it was leaking right down this very edge here, and it was facing downwards. There's still lots of residual oil left on it. So brand new from a dealer, original Mercedes part. The camshaft caps were fine, so I left them. Okay, so the secondary area that we had a leak here was with this coolant line right down here, right? Now, right now the engine is pretty hot, even the fan kicks in on and off. But now, I'm gonna bring this camera down. As you can see, the pipe is dry around this pipe, and it isn't leaking. I went to loosen it up to see if I would replace O-ring, because it was not leaking from the actual junction here. It was leaking where it screws into the radiator. So there's O-ring over there, so I was gonna change it, but then I started to loosen it up. It was very loose. It had like pretty much no resistance. It just came right off. So I loosened it up and tightened it back up, and that's it basically. It's not leaking anymore. But in any event, there's some area to keep an eye on, all right, because if the leak was there after a few minutes, it was already coming down. When I started the engine, 5 minutes later, it's already seeping down. It was a line of fluid coming down. So now it's been running for like 45 minutes, and there is nothing that leaks out at all. Now there will be lots of residual fluid everywhere down under on the pan, because like I said, I like to first confirm that there are no leaks, and then clean whatever I can clean. So maybe when I have time, tomorrow seems to be raining, but maybe when I have time, if I have time, I can just cool the engine down. When it's cold, then I can spray some, maybe even water, just to get whatever fluid, mix it up. It's coolant and some transmission coolant, transmission fluid and coolant down in there in this area on those covers on the bottom. And in the back, nothing I will do there, because it's catalytic converter. It gets seriously hot, but after about 45 minutes already, you can see that there is no more smoke. Any smoke is coming out of the engine. I don't smell it either, so that's a good thing. Now there will be a need here to deal with this particular piece, which is down there. It's a pretty hot engine at this point, so let me try to go put the camera like this. So here we have oil filter housing seeping a little bit, sweating. So that is something to deal with in the future, because it seeps now, but if it develops a serious leak, that's to be definitely dealt with. And in this area I saw coolant. It dried up by now, and because I sprayed it and cleaned it a little bit, and I wiped it down, and it has dried. It's just dried up. There's nothing there, but you see all this white residue. That tells you that the coolant is coming out somewhere, but it's not coming out from the actual pipe. It's coming out more from the neck area, because there was an impact over here. It's, as you can see how The plastics are bent, and this thing is just not going in. Whatever, it just maybe a tap, you know, it's like probably like a little tap, maybe parking or what have you. It's just like some paint. So anyway, so maybe the radiator has a little microscopic crack somewhere, and therefore it seeps out. So I'm just saying, this area to look into, to keep looking at. Okay, so basically to recoup, this area is going to be covered because I'm going to have the cover back on, right? So it's going to sit something like this. So you will have to sort of look around down through the grill over here, you know, just keep looking if any coolant comes out, because when cover is on, you don't see it, you don't see that opening, so there's no access to look at this very neck. But there is a little bit of residue, you see it shines in there, so there is some coming out. I'm sure there is a little crack somewhere in the radiator itself, so there's not much I can do about that radiator to be replaced. I'm thinking maybe there was a jolt, radiator shook, and the mounting point here, as you see, is moving a little bit. Maybe it took a hit, and then there's a little crack down there somewhere. But that's to be determined. This is one area. Most important area would be this area, obviously. You know, even when the cover is installed, you can still see it pretty clearly. Cover is here, so it's gonna look just like that. So it's all in the open. Monitor that area, and the smoke from behind, that should be no longer, although there will be a little bit of a residual oil that sits there that would be burning off, but that should stop, and that's about it. So lights work, directionals work, everything works except for outer fog lights. The inner ones do work, outer ones do not. This light right here is broken, so it is just the lens that needs to be replaced. And here we have all of this stuff that is all loose. It's not for me, man. This is more like a body shop kind of situation. Try to put it all together. I don't really deal with that. I put the bumper the best of my ability, line up all the lights the best I could, line them up, you know, because they were all off. I polished off these a little bit. Same on this side, so this one looks much cleaner now, because before it was very hazy. This side lined up worse because, again, of the impact, but it's pretty close. The lines, because the light's cracked, the mounting point for headlight is cracked. That piece right there, I put some zip ties in there just to keep it together, more or less as good as I could, but nonetheless you might see a zip tie there. Well, anyway, nonetheless it's cracked off, but light works, so we'll leave it. And same situation with wheel wells, because they're like all kind of like, they don't fit right because it was some sort of an impact here and there. So the bumper doesn't sit right. The bottom mounting points for bumper, the screws were not even there, so it was just hanging on the bottom, not secure to anything except for these 4 bolts, 2 on each side onto fenders, and 2 front ones here, the upper ones. The bottom ones are not even secure to nothing because there were nothing there. There was not, you know, there was nothing there. But again, I mean, it holds, it stays. So I think that will cover it. Air codes, I already told you about those. That is known, and pretty much it's ready. I'm good with this car. I'm good to go. It's 80,000 miles, 2010, so it's not really horrifically old or super high mileage. So these small little things will show up. It's just age already at this point. 11-year-old car. This is what we got. All right, man. So I'm pretty much all good to go with it. Just gonna put the cover on, put the air ducts back together, and let it be. Like I said, if I have a little time, I'll rinse up bottom covers, and I'll rinse up bottom covers with water at least. So just clean off as much as as much as residual as we have. That's it. Victor here, restoringmercedes.com. Thank you for watching.